The recovery team faces an unprecedented challenge in this blizzard. Preparation. The heavy lift begins. The crane carefully maneuvers. This Mercedes-Benz Actros has been trapped here for decades, a monument to the unforgiving winter. Recovery seems impossible. Abandoned for decades, this Mercedes-Benz Actros is now a monument to the unforgiving Arctic winds.
The Actros has been stranded here for decades, completely immobilized by the deep freeze. Now,
Look at the corrosion on the chassis. We're looking at decades of exposure here.
And the depth of this snowbank, it's completely frozen in place.
We're making progress, but the chassis is completely frozen.
Keep the plow moving. We need to clear this flank before dark.
That should hold it.
Yeah, the straps are secure. Let's go.
After weeks of preparation, the heavy lift begins. The crane carefully maneuvers the derelict Actros toward the work.
The Actros is finally clean, revealing the full extent of the corrosion. Now the real work begins.
This entire section of the chassis is completely compromised. Look at the pitting here.
We'll need to fabricate a new support for the cab mount as well.
we need to cut back to the clean metal here.
And match the curve exactly with the English wheel.
All right, let's get this panel tacked in place.
Welding these new panels is critical. It's the only way to ensure the Actros regains its structural integrity after years buried in the snow.
The measurements on the blueprint match the cutout perfectly.
All right, let's align this section. The structural integrity depends on this fit.
Decades of exposure left this Actros severely compromised, but with precision metalwork, the restoration team is bringing it back to life.
The initial assessment revealed heavy moisture damage. We're using a targeted steam and stiff brushes to The first step is always cleaning. We use a gentle solution to strip away years of dirt, revealing the true.
The structural integrity around the dashboard is compromised.
And the floorboards are paper thin.
This will be challenging.
This floor panel is completely shot. We're looking at a full replacement.
And the corrosion goes all the way up the firewall here.
We need to brace the cab before we cut anything.
Check this floor seam right here. It's completely rusted through.
All right, I'm marking it now. The dash frame is just as bad.
Measure from the firewall to that seam.
34.5.
All right, trim the replacement to that exact spec.
Interior protected and ready for reassembly.
The first step is always the most difficult. We need to clear away this corrosion and identify the critical failure.
As you can see, the Actros engine is heavily sludged. We're meticulously removing the hoses and accessories before we even think about the block itself.
The rust has completely seized the camshaft.
We'll need to assess the crankshaft damage next. See the pitting here on the valve seat. Yeah, that's definitely causing the compression issue. All right, let's torque this down carefully. We need that new seal seated perfectly before the manifold goes on.
Looks good. The alignment is spot on.
The Actros engine demands precision. Every bolt is torqued to the manufacturer's exact specifications before the next component is lowered into place.
With the wiring harnesses secured and the hose
Abandoned for years in the snow, the corrosion on this Actros is severe. Every component, from the axles to the springs, is heavily degraded. The challenge here is immense. Years abandoned in the snow have left the suspension and axles almost unrecognizable beneath the rust and frozen grime.
Busted hubs requires significant force.
This controlled welding process is critical. We are essentially rebuilding the structural integrity of the main chassis rails right here. Every component, from the heavy-duty shocks to the polished alloy wheels, has been meticulously rebuilt and tested to ensure full functionality.
The Actros restoration demands meticulous attention to detail. Every lug nut must be evenly torqued, guaranteeing the integrity of the wheel assembly. The Actros restoration requires meticulous attention to detail. Here we see the refurbished springs and axles being torqued precisely.
After stabilizing the structure, the final stage is the application of the sealant, crucial for preventing future corrosion. The Actros is structurally sound once more. The heavy corrosion has been entirely eradicated, leaving a solid foundation. Every component of this Mercedes-Benz Actros has been meticulously restored to factory condition.